Shorts are starting to cover their Skillz short positions. In this video, I will go over why the stock has dropped so much over the past couple months, and then I'll dive into the financials of the company, and then at the end of the video, I will give a price prediction based on technical analysis for shares. So, the main reason why this stock has fallen off of a cliff over the past year and really the past couple months is because the stock was deleted from the Russell. So the Russell 2000, the Russell 3000, these are indexes that passive money managers, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, they all buy based off of what is in the Russell 3000 and the 2000. So once Skillz was taken out of the Russell, well, it actually forced Vanguard, State Street to sell their shares. And we can see that here. So for Vanguard, they sold 95% of their holdings. And that was actually, we just got that holding in last week. We just got that position in, that 814. So that was from the most recent 13F. And then we also had State Street sell out 96% of their holdings. So, BlackRock also sold 98% of their holdings. So the three largest asset managers in the world pretty much sold out of their Skillz positions. Well, the reason they did that, like I said, is just because the stock was deleted from the Russell 2000, the Russell indexes. So that pretty much forced these large indexers to sell because, as I said, they buy pretty much exactly what is in the Russell, what's in the S&P 500. So that obviously forced, the selling that we've gotten from shareholders here. So unfortunately, BlackRock, State Street, the Vanguard Group, the three largest asset managers in the world, are pretty much out of their Skillz holdings. So that obviously isn't great for the stock, but it's really been the reason for underperformance over the past year or so. And then let's take a look at some short numbers here. So obviously the move higher today really is just short covering. So I thought it would be smart to kind of go through all the short numbers for you here. So Fintel here actually ranks out every single stock in the market and grades it based on their short squeeze likelihood. And for Skillz, actually, the stock ranks out at 190th most likely to have a short squeeze out of 4,500 stocks. So that is obviously pretty high and definitely does signal that the stock has a strong short squeeze likelihood. And then we can see that shares have actually short shares that are available to be shorted have gone down over the past couple days here. So we were at about 750K. Now we're at about 550K. Not a huge move. And then the short borrow fee rate is actually pretty low, only about 1%. And obviously, kind of the larger numbers, short interest as a percent of float is at 11%. And we have days to cover of 4.15. For those that don't know, this days to cover number just basically tells you the average days of volume it would take to cover the shares that are sold short. So this 4.1 basically tells you that it would take 4.1 days to cover the shares that are sold short. 4.1 days of average volume. So not a great number for days to cover. Typically, we look for over 10 to signify a high likelihood of a short squeeze. We're not seeing that here with the stock, though. And then failure to deliver numbers are actually pretty low. So we're only at about 4,600 shares failing to deliver. Obviously, we had that reverse split, so that's probably playing into that drop of that number. So, not the end-all, be-all there. But with that being said, though, let's take a look at the company's financials. So we can see here that Skillz doesn't make any money at this point in time, but they actually have a price-to-book ratio of 0.63, which is actually very attractive for this sector. So 0.63 is well below the sector median of 1.6, and it's also well below the 5-year average of 5.1. So for those that don't know, this basically puts the market cap relative to the book value of the company. So this is telling you here that the market cap is is only 63% of the book value. So definitely signifying that the stock is trading at a discount. And then we also see price to sales numbers of 0.8, which tells you that the stock is trading at a discount relative to the sector and relative to its own history. So decent number there, but obviously the stock doesn't make any money. And then when we take a look at revenue growth, revenue is down 48% year over year, and revenue growth for the next 12 months is actually projected to be down 21%. So kind of seeing that slow there, not a good trend. Growth, obviously, anytime you have a stock that isn't profitable, you always want to see growth kind of rationalizing that valuation, but we unfortunately aren't seeing that for Skillz. And then let's take a look at the profitability numbers for the company here. So we have 89% gross profit margins, which is actually really good. So this basically tells you what a company makes on what it sells. So it's simply just revenue minus cost of goods sold. So this 89% is actually a pretty good number and well above the sector median at 50%, and signifies that this gross profit margin is pretty healthy. And Skillz has a 5-year average of 92% for gross profit margin. And then cash per share is actually $15.34. So this is one of the most intriguing kind of investment theses for this stock, because when you have a stock that has a market cap that is below its cash holdings, it definitely signals that there's major risk, but also it signals that the company does have a decent amount of cash on hand to fund its future operations. So $15 in cash per share, and the stock is only at $8.60. Honestly, this would kind of be my favorite number out of all the financials, just because this is just super staggering. You don't see a cash position that is almost nearly double the market cap value of a company. And when we take a look at the balance sheet, it is pretty healthy. So we have $352 million in cash compared to $137 million in debt, meaning that the company has $220 million more cash than they do debt. So, obviously love to see that the company has more cash than debt. And then let's keep it moving here. So profitability compared to peers actually ranks out really good. We have the number one gross profit margin compared to all the peers, and obviously one of the worst net income margins though. And then growth metrics, we are pretty poor when we compare to peers. Unfortunately, we are the worst performing stock in terms of growth. Although when you look at a 3-year compounded annual growth rate is actually 4.2, so not too horrible. And then obviously valuation looks pretty poor relative to peers on a PE basis. But when we look at the price to book ratio, we're actually ranking number 2, short of VS. So not bad when you compare us on a price to book ratio. So all in all, these numbers aren't the best, but we do have some, we do have really good strength in the balance sheet, and we have good profitability numbers with that gross profit margin. With that being said, let's take a look at what Wall Street thinks about the company. So right now, there are 2 bullish ratings on the stock on Wall Street, 1 bearish rating. And we actually had Wedbush reiterate their outperform rating with a $20 price target. That was just actually earlier this month. So there still are a bunch of companies that are there are a bunch of investment firms that are very bullish on the stock still. And we can see that we have the highest price target is $34, and the average price target is $11.59. So all in all, this definitely shows you that this is kind of a battleground stock, that Wall Street is pretty split on the stock, and there isn't really a general consensus out there for Skillz. So with that being said, I'll keep it going, and I'll move to my price prediction, my technical analysis for this stock. The stock is coming up to test resistance at around $8.90. This is where shares had bottomed in July. It's also where shares had bottomed in June, where shares had bottomed in March and December of last year. So this level has acted as support in the past, and past support becomes new resistance. We're seeing that here. We're seeing the stock kind of reject this level intraday. So this $9 level is being rejected by Skillz. I would need to really see a close above this resistance level before I thought that shares would likely hold this $9 support level and move higher. So that's kind of what is standing in the way of Skillz right now, is this $9 resistance level, which is where shares had consistently bottomed out over the past year, and past support becomes new resistance. We're seeing that here intraday. So, be on the lookout for that. One good thing to see here, though, is volumes had been slumping over the past couple trading days as prices have moved lower, and we're seeing a spike up in volume, which does imply that we could see a reversal of price trend, which is obviously a good thing for the bulls. So that is kind of what I'm seeing for the stock. If you kind of put a gun to my head and told me to make a choice, not considering any of the short interest, not considering any of the fundamentals, I would honestly say that it is likely that Skillz rejects this level here and continues to move lower over the coming weeks. Obviously, anything's possible. And if you're a bull, really just be on the lookout for this $9 resistance level. If we close one daily candle above that, I would definitely say this kind of thesis of a rejection here would be invalid. So be on the lookout for that. But, it is my opinion that we probably reject this level and move lower. So that is kind of what I'm thinking for the Skillz chart. And I'll also look at some of the seasonality trends for the stock. So this tells me which month is best for the stock, which month is the worst. And unfortunately, the worst month in the stock's history is August, as shares typically decline 27% during that month. Only 2 years of pricing data, though, so not the end-all, be-all. With that being said, went over a lot in this video. Financials don't look the best for Skillz, but we do have that massive cash position of over $15 a share, which for sure signals an opportunity in Skillz, kind of independent of the chart or anything else. Like I said, this $9 resistance level is one you need to be watching, so make sure you have it, on your charts. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will end it there. If you got some value from this video, please leave a like. We post company breakdowns and important market moving news on this channel on a daily basis, so make sure you are subscribed. If you would like to receive my daily portfolio moves, my exits, my entries, and see how me and my team of analysts are trading the markets, join the Discord through the link in the description below to get our free 7-day trial. Also, if you would like to join our free daily newsletter, sign up to our Substack, which is linked below as well. With that being said, good luck everyone. Happy trading, happy investing.